Hello. Welcome back to school. Um, I've been pretty busy with some other things, which is why I haven't been able to do anything. Um, we've been organizing a schedule, talking about structure, things like that. Also, we have moved class time to a very early time for me, but it's okay because I'm usually up at that time anyway, so it's no big deal. And the nice thing is that because we're holding class earlier and a couple hours longer, give or take, I will then have the rest of my day for homework and meetings and practicing and all that other stuff. Currently, I am going through a bookshelf, organizing the various shelves, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do a what do they call it? Books video. So this is going to cover pretty much all, if not most, of the sight singing and oral training, ear training, textbooks, and music books that I have. You're gonna, like, I don't know, jaw drop when you see this pile. Look at that pile. I could show you from the other side. It probably might look prettier. I'm almost walking on my cat toys. This is obviously has not been accumulated overnight. This has been several years of collecting. I do have some of my, like, university books in here. I've got some books when I was in elementary school. Somehow I think I've got one or two of those. I don't know. But yeah, so these are the books. I'm trying to organize them and get them back on this shelf. I'm going through these shelves, shelf by shelf. These are some more. I think these are kind of already organized, but basically to go through the shelf, I think this here is a syllabus type thing that I put together based off a ear training CD set that I have. Let me just kind of open it. So the CD set is like, what do they call it? Is this upside down? I think this is upside down. This looks like it's upside down. Hold on. Yeah, that was so upside down. So basically there's like no written pages or anything. So I basically filled it, made up like worksheets to go with the different pages. That's what this is. I don't know if I've ever really, I think I started this at one point, then something came up and I never really got back to it. In the back I've got tables, I think these are tables. I don't know. I know I've got tables in here somewhere that have the different intervals and the spellings and things like that. I do know that this person that put that CD set together, they didn't really rely a whole lot on solfege. So they actually said, don't use solfege, it's just a crutch. But this is gonna be fun trying to get this back in here. But I have learned through, what I've gone through at university and just with practice with Braille a little bit here and there, that stuff I need to go through. Cat mouse. that silphage is actually a good thing. I prefer to use fixed dough rather than movable dough for various reasons. But yeah, that can go into a whole nother topic. These are pretty much all of my notes from university year training from the first semester, second, third, and fourth. So that's what all of that is. There's a lot of, personal notes in there and reference sheets and things. This is a book that I bought just because it came sparrow-bound, but it didn't, I don't know, I just didn't like it. So I put it all in a binder. We actually worked through the theory book that goes with this set. Let me see here. If I can find it. Yeah, right, there's a green book right there. That's the theory book. So basically I bought the ear training book that goes with that theory edition just to have extra resources. And I think this one is just a sight singing book, and it's got a little bit of keyboard and improv stuff in there. Not a whole bunch. Most of it is just sight singing. And there's a really neat section in here when they get into different meters that one of my Braille books, they actually break up the meters very specifically, and I found a whole bunch of exercises that dealt with the meters in this book that I thought would be, this would be kind of, good to work with. This book is the ear training book. A huge thing that I really don't like about this is, like, all the oral stuff, like the listening stuff, is all on a CD-ROM or something like that. So you have to have a computer that has a CD drive, and all of the answers and stuff are in like pixel, like a picture type thing. They're not in like a PDF thing or anything. And on top of that, all the answers are individual. So that's a pain in the derriere. So what I started to do when I was working through, I was looking at some of this, trying to find a page here. Yeah. Okay, so this is an actual example that I worked through, I believe. Well, that's definitely my handwriting. So, yeah, this is an example I worked through. And later, what I had to do is go through and take all of the answers and, like, put them into, like, one file, just so that it's easier to go through and mark the various answers and things. So all of the pages are kind of like that. And I've got little, like for each chapter, I've got an extra page of manuscript paper and some is what I could get off that disc. I don't have all the answers written out, but I'll have to figure out how to do that later. But this is, I don't know, I thought this might be another side useful thing to learn from. So that's why I bought that. And of course it's a little bit thicker because I've got the extra manuscript papers in there. So that is pretty much what all that is. That's the Brailler. This shelf is going to be where these books go. And how we're going to go through that is, I don't know, I guess a little bit by a little bit. So this might be a really long video. I don't know. So what I'm gonna do is put you guys up on the music desk, and as I'm organizing, I will just kind of show you guys what I'm looking at, and you know, whether or not if it's a good book or not. Do that sort of stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna put you here. I have a bunch of piano books on the floor, which I'm gonna have to move again. Ugh. Oh, okay. Put those there. Put those there. Slide you guys over here. I did manage to get the blackboard clean. So I'm very happy about that because that's been dirty for like a really long time. Okay, the first book. Oh gosh. This is Complete Manual for Teachers. This is basically like a dictation book. And it has 2 volumes. And this is both volumes combined into one. This book is actually available on like Google Books. So that's what that is. Yes, this is book 1. It looks like there's like a teacher or like writing books or something that goes with it. I haven't really been able to find those. But there's definitely, you know, interesting stuff in here. I don't know what years this would cover, but I don't know. So this is going to be in the I don't know what to do with this book pile. We can start that pile right there. Okay, next book I have is Elements of Musical Harmony and Elements of Music, Harmony and Counterpoint, Rhythm, Analysis and Musical Form. It's that book. Again, this book is available on the internet for free. I think you could, like, this is the full volume, but you could actually get like the actual individual books. Like, hold on, I actually have the 3rd volume on my theory shelf. Here. So this here is the 3rd volume of this book. Let me see here if I could find a page that it might. Laws of da-da-da-da. Okay, so that, oh gosh. Some of these page numbers are just really hard to read. Okay, that's 249. Let me see. I don't know how it's going to correspond with this book. These pages are actually smaller. The page numbers are smaller. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But this book and the last third of this book are pretty much the same. Except this book is a little bit bigger and it's a reprint and they wasted a whole bunch of pages on the top. So this book, what I might do is just give it to like the library and it could be sold or whatever. But yeah, this book is just, text is really small. So that is going to go back on the theory bookshelf, and when I get to that shelf, I'll go through and get rid of some stuff. But this book in general would go on the theory bookshelf. It covers the basic rudiments, rhythm. It goes into counterpoint, 2-point, or what is it? The various species. First species, second species, what is it? 2 against 1. Oh gosh. I I used to know that stuff. There's like 2 against 1. And then there's I want to say there's like suspensions in like the 4th species. There's 3-part counterpoint, 4-part counterpoint, and suspensions. That's what it is. And there's different rules that go with different species. But yeah. So that would go in the theory section. This is something I recently added. I haven't really figured out how to use it or what to use it. But it's what's that guy's name? Kodai. He's like a really like famous music educator in Hungary. And he wrote a bunch of music reading materials. And that's what some of this stuff here is. Basically, like this one, it's just a bunch of sight singing, like using different scale degrees and stuff. I don't know why some of it is written with notes and some of it is not. I would have to read the preface, which is like really small. And all of these books are pretty similar in that setup. Well, this is book number 1, which basically just has the notes with the solfege underneath it. So I thought something like this might be useful for reading in Braille, but I still am not sure yet how or if we're going to use these. And this is volume 2, which is basically notation written without the staff lines. Volume, oh, I think I lost myself. Oh, that was volume 4 I showed you earlier. This is volume 3. I think these are all out of order because I don't know. This is volume 1. Yeah, this is volume 2. Oh, maybe I'm doing this right. I don't know. This is volume 3. And why some of these are in different, like, sizes. I think all of these are just written out with this weird no lines, basically, with rhythms. I guess it's just a really quick way of notating rhythm and notes. This is volume 4, which obviously it incorporates more challenging rhythm stuff. I really hope this is showing through because I don't know. And then this is the 333 music reading examples. So again, just extra resources. Oh, Zoltan Kodai. That's how it is. And I think I got these off what is it? Sheet Music Plus. I mean, you could find them. So these, again, I don't know what to do with them. So I'm going to put them in the I don't know what to do with this pile. Okay, next. Ear training and writing music. I got this from my high school choral music director. And I had wrote a composition and entered it into a composition thing, and it won, I don't know, some award for it. And he bought me this book as, you know, kudos to you or whatever. uh, so there's some written stuff in here. It basically goes through and it talks about the various intervals. It's got written in like numeric and solfege. Let me just show you a page. And so like you could go through and work through these as like just getting an understanding of solfege. I don't think there's much as far as dictation, but I'm sure there's some stuff in here, because I remember writing out the tune to Happy Birthday, and I think some other stuff. But again, this is one of those books I don't know what to do with, because it doesn't really have it's not structured in a manner that I could actually use with learning Braille. Basic Sight Singing. This is a book I actually learned from when I was at a summer music camp. And one of the courses basically was like a week-long in-depth music training. Like, I think you took choir. I mean, I took choir because I couldn't play an instrument like trombone or flute or anything. So I took choir. I took not conducting, ear training, sight singing. There's a theory class. I think there's a vocal health class or whatever. That was pretty interesting. But it was basically like music school for younger students. And it wasn't like the singing cute songs, but it's like you actually had to, work on music reading and go to practice and stuff like that. But this is one of the books we used. This book, I started using it a really long time ago. I don't know why there is a strip of paper. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's a very large sticky. So I must have been working through this. What I did when I was working through this, this must have been when COVID was going on or something. But I would go through and I would mark out the solfege into music Braille, and that's what I'd kind of play around with. I don't think I did the whole line because that was just a lot of work for me to write out the whole line. But basically I used these little examples up at the top more or less as note recognition, kind of like if a sighted student was learning how to recognize a quarter note from an eighth note or a crotchet from a minim. Being able to just to identify what the notes are, or identifying the where middle C is on the staff, on the treble staff, or where B is on the bass staff, things like that. That's what I use this for. I didn't really go into much with rhythm because I'm still having issues with rhythm. Okay, so we're gonna put that in the I don't know what to do with this pile. Next we have a bunch of loose leaf papers, sight singing, more weird sight singing stuff. I think this was something we did in high school. I don't know why I still have papers, but yeah. Then there's a couple packets that were given or I had somehow acquired. I think this first one was for just practice in general. This one, I think I got this when I was in high school for sight singing. I took a advanced placement theory class, and that was where these came from. But basically they're choral type stuff, and they've got different rhythms. Obviously, I think these are not horribly difficult. I don't even know how these are lined up, but oh, they got different styles. They're Baroque. I think there's classical in here. Yeah, there's Baroque and classical and just general music reading. So again, just extra resources that I don't know what to do with. So I'm gonna put that in the I don't know what to do with this pile. These are okay. I think I'm coming into the beginning of the pile, the official beginning of the pile. This is a really old book. The Sight Singer. This is a book we used in elementary school. I really don't remember much out of it other than the cute little characters. But they do use movable dough in this book. And I think this is two-part or unison, I forget. Well, it's at least two-part because, yeah, it's got two staves on this example here. I'm thinking this is probably unison and two-part. I think there's like a three-part version. Let's see, there's sight singing, there's a two-part mixed or three-part mixed, volume 1, and then there's the unison two-part, volume 1. And I think there's a volume 2 as well. I mean, you wouldn't have a volume 1 without a volume 2. I think this is unison two-part voices. Oh, yeah, up at the top. It says unison two-part voices. So, this I don't have a use for in me learning Braille. So I think I'm going to put this in the I don't know what to do with pile. And I'm thinking the I don't know what to do with pile is probably going to wind up in the storage. I got a bunch of piano books I got to take down there anyways. So, yeah. I'm basically trying to clear out my shelf so I actually have practical stuff that I'm going to actually work with when we get to that point. This is the Johnson sight singing course. Jensen sight singing course. I think this is volume 1. I can never tell. Oh, this is volume 2. This is volume 1. And this was something I had learned of when I was doing a, not necessarily student teaching, but like a internship thing. And this was one of the books that they, used. And they got both rhythm and, rhythm and solfege in here. I'm trying to get to the first page here. The first page is all rhythm. The second page, obviously, they build tonal stuff. And I think they use solfege. Well, yeah, they use solfege. I think they do movable dough in this book. I want to say they do movable dough. I think this book I'll leave out as a reference. Because it does have a lot of good material in it. Volume 2 basically picks up where volume 1 left off. This is the first page. I think by the end of this volume, you're reading in 3-part harmony. You have a pretty good handle of like major and minor tonalities, and you're using 16th rhythms with 16th notes, or what is it, you got a quaver, and then you got a demi quaver or a semi-quaver. I don't know what a 16th in the English language is. But I will have to study that. But that's one of the later pages that is introduced. And then the really neat thing is, in the back they got this really awesome dictionary. They have it in both volumes, but the second volume, the dictionary is actually larger to read. So that's nice. So I'm going to put that in the, I think I'll use that pile. Then, sight singing and tune up book for male or mixed chorus. I think this was something, again, from high school. We used sparingly. I know we did some sight singing out of it, but not enough for me to really remember. Yeah. I don't know if it really has any purpose for my purposes, so it's probably going to go in the I don't know what to do with this pile, but I'm sure it's a good resource. A couple books from, oh gosh, the book, secondhand stores. You gotta love secondhand stores. Basically, I think these are just songs. Yeah. Like, this is just a book of songs. And it says it's for low voice, whatever that means. I don't know if these are secular or sacred. I'm thinking these might be secular. Are you living? Yeah. Oh, that one sounds sacred. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's secular and sacred. But either way, I found these at a secondhand store, and I thought, what the heck? So, yeah. Again, just more fun reference material. I mean, this stuff could be used for sight singing. It could be used for ear training. It could be used for keyboard, like sight reading at the keyboard. It could be used for transposition practice. Yeah. But I do not have a direct use for these. So these are going to go in the I don't know what to do with right now pile. Okay. This book, Functional Ear Training. I bought this from a secondhand store again. Like, what do they call it? I don't even know if these are getting in. I think these are getting in. I don't know. I can't tell. I bought this at a secondhand store and I thought, well, what the heck. So this is another ear training book. Basically, it talks about the scale degrees and their functions and how they relate. Like, do is the tonic, sol is the dominant, mi is the mediant, I think. And it talks about where these degrees want to go. Like, fa is a submediant, no, subdominant. I used to know these. Like, fa is a subdominant, and each of these tones have different tendencies to move to different other degrees that are more stable. So, like, fa would go, usually it would go down to mi, but it could also go up to sol. So, like, like if you do, do, re, mi, fa, mi, or else you can go Do, re, mi, fa, sol. You could do that. T, if I were to do do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and that would want to go up to do. My ear is really stuffed up, so I don't hear well. That will get cleaned out later in the summer. But that's kind of what that is. It looks like there's some sight reading stuff in here too, in assorted clefs. Yeah. Well, that's an idea here. I'm trying to find a sight reading page. That's manuscript paper. I haven't looked through this book in forever, so I don't know. I'm not real familiar with it. But that's like an example of a sight reading page near the front. And then somewhere in here are actual actually this looks like dictation. I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, this looks like dictation or something. This one here looks more like sight reading. But there's also like exercises like at the end of the chapters. This one doesn't have one. I don't know why. Ooh. Look at that key signature. Yeah. So, let me see here. There's a lot of chapters in here. Well, some of these probably just don't have homework exercises. I know in the front there's like a whole bunch of them. Oh wait, I just passed a whole bunch. Chapter 2. Okay, here. Chapter 1. I don't think all the homework is set up like this, but this is like an example of the homework that goes with the first chapter. So this one basically teaches about the functions of the various degrees and where their tendency wants to lead to. I don't see anything funny in the sense of like clefs. Oh, here's some rhythm. It looks like they're rhythm pages. So they do have some rhythm. That was like way at the end of the book. I don't know exactly how far this goes up, but I'm thinking it goes. There's lots of manuscript paper at the end. Oh my gosh. There's all this manuscript paper. There's like 20 pages of manuscript paper, and maybe more. Yeah, there has to be at least 20 pages of manuscript. Oh, this is interesting. They have interesting charts and tables dealing with the clefs that nobody really knows how to read, except the people that read the clefs that nobody knows how to read. Wait, these aren't clefs. These are letters. These are, hold on. I don't know. What is this? Index of composers. Okay, that's what that is. Sorry, that's not a page of clefs that nobody knows how to read. It's an index of composers. I don't know. I think I'll keep this out just in case. Where it's going to go in the big pile of stuff, I don't know. The next book that came up on the pile is Modus Vetus. Modus Vetus. This is not a cheap book. There's another book by the same author, Modus Novus, which deals with sight reading in non-tonality keys. This one deals with major and minor. The thing I love about this book is the notes are like really, really big. So there's not a whole lot of eye squinting on this. So I'm thinking I might leave this out for reference purposes. It potentially could be used for Braille reading, but I don't know. But I'll leave it out. I think there's some ear training and harmony stuff in the back. Yeah, there's stuff with figured bass. So if you want to go all Baroque and not romantic, but whatever time eras used figured bass. I'll put that in that reference for now in the potentially might be used. The next 3 books are, it's called Melodia, a course in sight singing, solfeggio. This is by Samuel Cole. These books, I think, again, were used in high school. I don't know why I have one that's volume 2. No, this is volume 1. I think this is book 2. And this one here is the complete book. So these are basically just sight reading examples. This, if you've seen my music reading course, not necessarily a reading course, but I've got a playlist of just basic music stuff. I made reference to these books with just identifying notes and keys and things. But this is basically a bunch of music where the person literally just looks at the notes and they start reading the notes using solfege. And they got some pretty, again, more interesting key signatures. I can't tell where my hand is. Okay. I'm going to make this a little bit brighter so I can see where my hand is, because I cannot see where anything is. Okay, there we go. Now, oh, I can see my hand a little bit. So that's like a really, funny key signature. Not funny, but like people like, oh, I don't read anything beyond 4 flats, or I don't read anything beyond 3 sharps. Yeah, that's what that is. I would say learn the key signatures, get used to them, play transpose, just play pentatonic scales and arpeggio. Just do everything you can in all the major and minor keys. This book, this is the complete book. I think I might leave this out for reference, especially the first couple chapters or the first couple books. I got them tabbed. But I think I'll leave this out for reference because this I could definitely use for rhythm. The nice thing about this is, like, the first 2 books, I think most of it deals with stepwise motion, but the rhythms are different. And so basically they're teaching you rhythm, and then later they'll actually introduce the pitches. And the weird thing is instead of going like starting from the second do re do, or the third do re mi do mi, they'll actually go with the octave do so, and then they'll work backwards. So they'll go do so do la fa ti, etc. So that's interesting. This book I'm definitely going to keep out. This is called the Rhythm Book. I do not know. I got this from a secondhand store somewhere. it has pencil markings in it. And it says that the book has been used. So I don't know if this book is still in print anymore, but if you can get a copy of this, this is like, I would say this is like a really, really good book. This book teaches rhythm using takadimi, which is a beat pattern of reading rhythm. So every beat, regardless of what it is, it's going to be ta. Every subdivision is going to be D. So if you have a piece that is in 2/4 correction, if you have a piece that is in 4/2 time, if you see a half note, you're going to say ta. If you see, that'd be a minim. If you see a quarter note or a crotchet in a 4/2 time, you're going to say ta di. And if you're in 4/4 time, if you see a quarter or a crotchet, you're going to say ta. And if you see eighth notes or quavers, you're going to say ta di. So it's all relation to the rhythm divisions, and it has nothing to do with whether or not if it's a quarter note or an eighth note. Like, I know when I was in music school, I learned the oh gosh, I don't even ta tt. That's that ta tt ta tiri tiri ta tt ta. I don't know what the 16th one is, but the thing is, your downbeat is always going to be dependent on the rhythm and not necessarily dependent on the actual music structure. So I'm trying to find here. Here's an example page out of this book. This book covers everything from basic material to very, very, very advanced material. It looks like they've got, every once in a while I find these cute little charts. So here's a chart. It looks like they're introducing the subdivided beat. So, like I was saying here, this is the beat, and regardless of what the beat is, the subdivision and the division is all going to be in relation. So this is just like an example, but they've got little charts like this all over the place in this book. And then here, I think this is compound time. So they've got charts that cover compound time, and they teach the various rhythms based off of, you know, how their function in the music is, whether or not if it's on the downbeat or offbeat or everything in between. But this book I would highly, highly recommend as we get into more advanced, well, a little bit. It's a little bit into the later part of the book. This is near the end of the book. You're coming into asymmetrical meters. I don't think we touched this in university. But I do know we covered things like 5 or 7. But if it's like 5 plus 7 over 16, we didn't do those. But I'm sure I could figure it out when I get to this point. Because I'm smart with figuring things out. So this book, definitely highly recommended. Get this book if you can. So that book is definitely going to be used in the Braille education department. Here is another highly recommended book. Manual pratique pour l'étude de clés. Everything in this book is in French. But fear not, you can still use this book. If you can read, if you can read music, you can read this book. Basically, what this book is it's basically eye training for the different cleves. And they start off with a couple notes, and they like up here it starts off treble clef, do, and sol. And so you study this table. Okay, that's do and that's sol, and that's do and that's sol. And then you go down and you do your exercises, and you start out slow to train the eye, and as you get better, you're supposed to set a metronome and say each one at various tempi clicks of the metronome. And there's no rhythm in this. There's no like sight singing per se, but it's just identifying pitches on the staff. They have harmonic stuff in here. They've got the different cleves. Here's a page from the bass clef. Let's see if I can get that in there. So that's a page from the bass clef. They have all of the C cleves. So here they have what is it? Clé d'ont, first ligne. Pardon my French. I failed French class. But this is the C clef or the do clef on the first line. And again, you just go through and I think this first thing it introduces do, sol, and do. And then you go to your exercises and you do your do, sol, and do. Or do, sol, do, sol, and do. And you're reading off the soprano clef. And then they have the alto clef, the mezzo soprano clef. They have really fun exercises like these from literature. So this book teaches the various cleves with just the notes, like just identifying the notes on the staff. You're not like you don't have to sing this stuff or play it. You just have to look at it. For example, if I'm looking at the this is the tenor clef, if I'm not mistaken. So if I'm looking at this top line, I could just essentially read through this. Do, re, mi. Oh gosh, I gotta follow my notes. This would be do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, mi, sol, ti. No, that's I don't know. I don't know what this note is. Re, do. This is hard. Yeah. Obviously working through this in like systematic manner would work. If anyone's curious, I was looking at that line right there. That's what I was looking at. So then they got the different jumps. Here's the mezzo soprano clef. So this book, there's a playlist on YouTube where somebody from, I want to say New England Conservatory of Music, he posted a playlist on sight singing. And this is one of the books that he recommended. And I thought, oh, that looks like fun. So I bought the book. And yeah, everything, like, contents here, it's all in French. So I just don't really read the French. But in short, you're basically looking at the notes and just identifying it as quickly as you can. And because the French uses do, re, mi for, or really they start with ut, which is the original first tone of the scale degree. But they actually use the solfege syllables for the names of their notes. So, that's one reason why, having this book, because they already use the solfege. So you're really just recognizing the solfege notes. And Braille also uses solfege. When you see the first pitch, for like the Braille letter D, dots 1, 5, sorry, dots 1, 4, 5, that's the letter D. Those Braille dots also represent the pitch do, or specifically in English, C, like the pitch C. It doesn't represent middle C, it just represents any C on the keyboard. So using solfege with Braille is one of the reasons that I'm, using solfege, because it's recommended. A lot of Braille advocates highly and strongly recommend that music be done with solfege, and as the student gets better, switching over to the alphabetic system if they wanted. And the main reason they do that is because the symbols represent different things in literacy as they do in music. So like dots 1, 4, 5 in literacy, it represents the D or the word do. In Braille, it represents the pitch C, regardless of where it's at on the piano. Now, if there's a octave sign before it, it will, have a specific C to be played. But in general, when you see those dots, that is do or C. But in print or in literacy, if you see those, it represents the letter D. And so I think that mostly has to do with younger learners. Okay, I don't know how far I have left to go on this pile, but I still have a long way to go. I'm gonna check this video. Let me think. I think I'm at 20. I think I'm at 120. I can't tell. Hold on. Is it 30? Oh gosh. I can't tell. Like, whoever decided to put white letters or white numbers on a background of whatever color this is, orange, is a complete idiot. Okay, I'm gonna let this be for now. We're gonna call this part 1 of going through my ear training books. I really cannot tell. I think it's at an hour. Let me see if I could still. All right, I'm gonna have to add this on. It's at like 50 minutes from what I could tell. I'm gonna do a couple more, and then I'll do like as I got 3 books here in a set, and then I'll do like the other ones later, because again, we're gonna be getting into some more really good resources. So this book, this is actually a series of ear training books. I think I bought them at like Barnes and Noble or something, like some weird, not a weird bookstore, but a bookstore nonetheless. It comes in 3 different volumes. It's kind of interesting how they introduce them. The first one actually deals with ear training from the perspective of different scale, like segments of scales. And I remember I was like working through some of these. I'm thinking, I don't understand this. In the second, well, let me show you what some of these. Volume 1, scale forms through 6 basic tetrachords. So that's what volume 1 covers. So you basically learn what the 6 tetrachords are by sound. And these things come with CDs. Well, at least what I bought came with CDs. I don't know if they still come with CDs. So basically there's like reading, like you have to go through and read the material. And then the rest of the book literally is like a bunch of these like exercise pages. I don't know what this page is, but this one definitely has some notes filled in, so don't go getting any ideas and cheating off me. You might be wrong. But yeah, oh, I think this first one, like, you're listening to a thing and then you're identifying it. I don't know. But there's a whole bunch of these exercise pages in the back of the book. I don't think I did that, obviously. Ooh. There's a smell of aroma of good food coming across the land, and it smells really good. That's volume 1. Volume 2. Volume 2 covers the 12 basic interval sounds to master. So this is basically the intervals. I do not think I did anything out of this book. But again, you have reading, and then at the end of the book, I don't know. That's manuscript paper. Here. There's exercises, it looks like. Again, I have not gone through this book, so I don't know what it all entails. The second book is definitely thicker than the third book, or the first book. The last book in the series is called Capturing the Basic Chord Qualities. So this one is dealing with chord qualities. And again, there's reading. I think these are talking about different 7th chords. And then in the back again, there's, oh my gosh, there's exercises. Again, I have not gone through this book, so I don't know what it entails. So yeah, there's pages and pages and pages. Oh my gosh, is this the answers? I don't know what that is, but it's a lot. I think I might keep these out for reference. I'd have to get like a CD player or something, but I think I'll keep these out. I might be able to find some use for these, so I'll keep these in the, I will work through this potentially later. Okay, so I'm going to show you the pile, and then I'm going to splice the two videos together. Then we're going to, I don't know, I got to get caught up on my arithmetic, but I'm going to do like a downward thing here so you guys can see how much of the books are left. So this is all that's left. Yeah, this is going to be part 1 of my ear training books. These are the books I'm going to keep out. And these are the books I'm going to put into storage. And again, highly recommended this book. This is Manual Pratique pour les clés. Pour l'étude des clés. Usually leave out half of the words in French. And this is the other highly recommended book, the rhythm book. This is the 2nd edition, and Richard Hoffman is the author. That will be good for rhythm. The French book will be good for clefs. And this book, you can find this on the internet. Like, I think it's in public domain. But just in general, just to have a good sight reading book, this would be the other book, the Melodia. Actually, let me show you the front inside. It'll be easier. This would be the other book I would recommend for your musical enjoyment and study in the field of sight singing and ear training. So, with that, I mean, everything else kind of, hit and miss. Like I said, the modus, whatever this book, modus virtus is, pretty expensive, but it's another option. But definitely these top 3 are good resources. So, if you want to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget, I gotta find the school bell. Oh my gosh, I gotta not knock over anything. Hold on. If you want to ring the notification bell for all notifications.